36 denied proposal stories, according to Reddit. Number 36. I've had 3 or 4 no's depending on how you count. The first one was initially a yes. We'd had a mostly long-distance romance and I proposed after a couple years, but we still hardly knew each other. After visiting her family and spending time learning less flattering things about me, I think I became tarnished in her eyes and she broke it off. Second one, I proposed. She said yes. And then when she called her parents the next day, they refused to recognize the engagement and pushed her to cut it off. I hadn't met them. The third time, the same girl as the second, we were engaged for a few months. Even took our invite pictures. We were apart for 3 months before the wedding so I could complete a work project. During that time, I had a crisis of conscience and I felt like I needed a little more time. I asked her to push back the wedding, saying I loved her, but I wasn't quite ready. She simply called it off. Absolutely gutted me, and I'm sure it wrecked her too. I suspect her parents had some influence, but in the end, I think it was probably for the best. The fourth time, a new girl, 3 years later, we've been the best friends who fell into dating. I'd gotten a new job and was leaving town and wanted to take her with me to kind of start grown-up life together. So I proposed marriage. It was too early in our relationship, 5 months, and it was a bad decision. She had a missionary opportunity and she took that and left town. Or maybe that's what she told you. Waka waka. That's enough, Kyle. Fifth time I proposed to a new girl in a new town. We'd been dating for a year and she said yes. And we have 3 kids and 13 mostly great years together. Too long didn't read, keep trying. Man, some people really want to get married. Jesus Christ, he was just proposing to girls all over the place.
I mean, it's good that it ended well for him, but what kind of foresight do you have if you're proposing to someone at 5 months?
Nigga, you have a sister that got proposed fresh out of high school.
Yeah, so, but you knew the guy for like 3 years at that point.
Some people just want somebody to lock it down with. I think they're horrified at the concept of not having someone. But even this guy, weirdly enough, when he was with these chicks and he pretty much had them on lockdown, he wanted time, you know, with the second chick.
It was cold feet. No, it was the first chick. I think it was just
No. The first chick, he said, it was initially a yes. It was long distance. When they got close and she learned more stuff about him, she was like, hell nah. The second one, he proposed to her and the parents were like, hell nah, get away from that dude. And then she basically cut it off. And then he said he established it with her again. The third time was the same girl as the second.
Okay.
And we were engaged for a while, and then he was like, no, man, I need some time. And she was like, nigga, how about I simply call it off? This is enough. Number 35. She said no, and I ate the ring pop. Will you marry me? You know what a ring pop is? You're kind of young.
I used to eat ring pops.
There's some hardcore quivering in your voice. I used to eat ring pops. Got some bad memories about ring pops you want to share with the class?
No, it's just bruised me once.
It just what? It bruised you?
Yeah, I got bruised by a ring pop once.
As much as I'm sure everybody's dying for that sweet ass anecdote about how you got bruised by a ring pop, let's go ahead and continue this list. Number 34, man. I had a couple of friends that have been seriously involved since college. They felt that marriage was a tool of the patriarchy and was only a piece of paper. 6 years on and the relationship was still going strong. They decided they wanted a kid. Forgive me. She got pregnant and things were going well. One night they had a serious discussion and decided that since there was going to be a baby, that they really needed to figure out the other legal implications. They decided it was best if they got married so that there wouldn't be any question of who takes care of the kid if something happened to one of them. A little while later, the guy realized that he was going to get married, but It was decided more or less in a discussion after weighing the costs and benefits. Not very romantic, he decided. F it, we're going to get married, I should do this properly. So he plans and makes a fancy meal, candles, wine, with champagne at the ready. The whole 9 yards. At what he thought was the right moment, he got down on his knee, presented her with the ring, and asked her to marry him. She looked aside and said, actually, I've been thinking about that a little more. Ooh, she turned him down. I learned about this when he called me up to vent. He was hot. Anger was his go-to emotion. She had already agreed. It should have been a great moment for both of them. But instead, he felt humiliated and foolish. I couldn't blame him. After all, she had already agreed to get married. Talk about a slam dunk marriage proposal, lol. They were still way into each other, and it did end up getting married once the kid was born. They've now been together for over 20 years, but at the time, I thought their relationship was done. That girl denied him and then ended up going through with the marriage. Come on, lady. You mess with people's feelings like this. And he probably did it for her. That's what made it so humiliating, you know? Just to have it, you know, be something that they can look back to as something fun. And she's like, actually... So somebody said, wait, after all the legal implications they got married after the kid was born. Getting married after the kid was born also works to solve the legal implications, says somebody else. Fucking Reddit, mate. So number 33. My ex asked me twice, and I said no twice. She then married the next guy she met. Whoa. So the chick asked the dude... Oh, I mean, OP could be a girl, but I think OP is a guy named Kyle Beast 420.
Nah, I'd like to think they're weird lesbians. And then she didn't like the lesbian life, so she got a man instead. Not that lesbians are weird, just as particularly these two are.
Jesus Christ, something is very wrong with my touchpad right now. Can I tell you that I've been hearing the faint noise of a goddamn police car outside for what's been like 2 minutes? And it's as if it's not going anywhere. It's just parked somewhere with its siren on. Like, you know what time it is right now? It's midnight where I am. And this is by no means like, you know, just like a hilarious neighborhood. Like, oh my God. I wish it was a hilarious neighborhood because I wish we lived amongst people who would just pull out their gat and walk outside like, you know what time it is, motherfucker, pow. You know what I'm talking about? Get inside the car, turn off the siren. I don't know, but put it in the direction of a canal, Stripes, and just, okay, my bad. I turned off the music so that everybody could hear my frustration, but that's enough. That is enough. I thought
you were going to talk about the spooky noises your AC has been making.
It wasn't spooky, it was hilarious. I thought it was going to take flight. It really sounded like it was just it had reached rocket ship mode and was about to take off earlier. Listen to me. Shut up, Stripes. I know you're trying to go everywhere with this. You're so bored by this list, but we haven't even begun. Is this 33? I've already lost track because we're always in the bull crap. Listen, I like to think that this person's ex was a female and that the person is a man, and she tried to pressure him into marrying her. And when he said no twice, she then went and called herself a new man who she could browbeat into marrying her. She wasn't looking to marry you, she was just looking to marry, says a response. I'd say that you dodged a bullet. Ain't that for shizzle? Ain't that for flibblin' shibbledy brizzle? Excuse me. Oh, jizzle. So this was 36. This was 35. This is 34. This is 33, which makes this number 32. It's been gilded 4 times, and it's number 32. It's going from least good to most good. We will travel to most good, Stripes. Most good. Number 32. 8 years ago. It's been 8 years. We had known each other for 5 years, dated for 3.5, and every single day I saw her was the best day of my life. We met while working at a pizza chain and had gotten close at work. I eventually worked up the courage to ask her out, even though it was awfully frowned upon, and she was a driver and I was a manager. She said yes, and we went to a party together and literally didn't talk to a single other soul that night. I was hooked. We dated for a year and then moved in together. I can still see her face perfectly, even that long ago. I just feel like the music is too low. I'm going to adjust it really quick. Her family was wonderful. Her father, an esteemed professor at a nearby college, and her mother was a cancer survivor with a heart of gold. Everything just seemed to fit, and I knew that I wanted to be with her forever. After dating for 3 years, I finally popped the question. I had set up a normal night in, ordered pizza, and had a nice little night in. We had a cat, Triumph, a nice little apartment, the whole shebang. I had tied a little pillow with a ring onto tree and sat her in the other room while my lady was in the bathroom. She's saying that he tied the this is a bad situation. It says that he tied the ring.
Cat eat the ring.
I don't know what the cat's gonna do, but you don't tie, anything that's of value to a living animal, especially something like a cat that is not the type of animal that desires to have anything attached to it. You understand me? Anyway, I had tied a little pillow with the ring onto Triumph and sat her in the other room while my lady was in the bathroom. When she got back, I called for the cat and she came in, pillow and all on her back. I proposed and she burst into tears. Wow, it looks like it all went fine, saying she was sorry. I proposed and she burst into tears, saying she was sorry, and she ran out of the apartment. I tried desperately to reach her. Through family, friends, any way imaginable, I finally heard back from her sister after 3 days. Her entire family knew, and I was apparently. I was the only person out of the loop. She was diagnosed with a very aggressive terminal brain cancer. Oh shit, it's that kind of story. Just 3 days prior to me proposing, I was gutted for so many years. But I could understand why she didn't tell me. After I had proposed, she told her sister that she decided not to put me through that, but I didn't care. I would have stayed with her to the end of the earth. I tried night and day to contact her to no avail. She died just 5 weeks after I had proposed, and I never felt more lost and alone than I did at her funeral. Her family was very comforting, and I began to hate myself, thinking that it was something that I had done to scare her away, making her believe that I would leave her if she told me, when it couldn't have been further from the truth. I went into a deep depression for a very long time afterwards. I drank, I did drugs day and night, went from job to job, just not showing up for days on end. I dropped out of school, I lost a lot of friends, considered ending my life a few times. I know now that she kept it from me to try and save me from the grief of losing her, but there's nothing in the world I wouldn't give to go back in time just to hear her say yes.
This was a lot worse than a cat eating the ring.
Yeah, we would. There's nothing we wouldn't give to go back in time and hear him say that the cat ate the ring.
Oh my god, this is so sad.
Look, man, all I know is that, I hope some of the teenagers that usually come into the stream all bent out of shape because some stupid asshole whose dick they want to suck or titties they want to lick, isn't paying them as much attention as they could be on this given day. Because, some people dealing with real life shit that send them into a spiral of like utter depression and, crippling struggles that honestly death would be like a preferable piece of relief. And your problems are hilarious compared to some of these things. And, that'll never change. That's real, son. That girl said no, and she chose to push him out of her life, and it is her choice as well. She deserves that choice. So there's that. Number 31. I guess I'm too late to the party, but I love my parents' story, so I'll tell it. Okay. My parents met in high school. My dad was the new kid, and my mom saw him get off the bus, walked up to him and said, "That jacket looks warm." And he said, "Wanna share?" She jumped into the jacket with him, and they walked around like dorks sharing a jacket. They were best friends for 5 years, and my mom watched my dad be a huge player and fall head over heels for and date nearly every girl in school. But they were just friends. They used to always kiss each other goodbye on the cheek, but one day when they were about 21, he snuck a real one from her. She was taken aback, and he confessed he was in love with her and had to be with her. My mom was like, yeah, sure, you definitely love me and aren't just bored for sure. Let's date. They dated for 2 years, and my dad proposed 6 times. My mom always said no because she didn't really believe he would ever be able to settle down. Finally, he got her a custom-made opal ring and planned a romantic proposal, and she said yes. They had a beautiful backyard wedding and built their dream life together. I married my husband last year on their 30th wedding anniversary. How beautiful.
You know, I don't know how my parents got proposed, honestly. Maybe it's something I should inquire, but I'm sure it's
I'm sure there was like a
mundane.
gun involved, and they were like involved in like the
What?
cartel. People who are listening to this that may not know anything about you know, Stripe's
Yeah,
parents.
I'm a Bob baby, apparently.
Look, I don't need to know anything about people's lives, but all you need to know about Stripe's parents is that they work and they deal with very expensive things. You know what I mean? And when they were younger, they were probably real talk like a Bonnie and Clyde type Mexican deal. You know, which is like really scary because the Mexican aspect is what makes it horrifying. You know what I'm talking about? Look, I don't even know where we are. This has got to be number 31, right?
Let's hope.
Let's hope. So this is number 31, and look how long it is. Why don't you just write a book, asshole? Number 30 happened a couple of years ago. Me and my significant other had been seeing each other for about 8 months. Though we loved one another and I felt we had a strong relationship, we hadn't yet gotten around to talking about marriage much. Isn't it weird how well I can just read something, that I've never read before based on how the structure of the sentence, is no, just keep reading. Whatever. Hey, fuck you, Stripes. I'm the best. I'm the best. What led to me proposing was a mini meltdown over a slew of family and acquaintances seemingly all getting married or engaged at the same time. Aw. This led me to a sudden realization. I was approaching 30 years old, and nearly everyone in my life and my age were already married. I know that's not a good reason to get hitched, but when you get to that age, things change. You start thinking long term. You start looking in the mirror at yourself a little more closely. You realize you aren't going to be around forever. So one night, after much wine and sex, I proposed. I didn't really plan it out that much. We were listening to the Dirty Dancing soundtrack on repeat, as was custom. She's Like the Wind came on, and I got to thinking about Patrick Swayze and how he died, and Jennifer Grey and how her career died. It just got me really sentimental. I sort of blurted out, hey, let's get friggin' married. Not romantic, I know, especially considering that we were pretty much laying in a puddle of lube and our own fluids at the time. In fact, I hadn't even removed the belt from around my neck yet. Well, my significant other was pretty stunned at first, but then they leveled with me. They said they didn't really picture us together in the long term, wanted to keep it casual, apparently. I said I'd put my blood, sweat, and tears into our relationship, literally. The futon upon which we laid was covered in them. My pleas made no difference. Our respective levels of emotional involvement was simply vastly different. It was a huge blow for me. Not as big as what came next, however. My significant other said it might be a good time to take a break for a while, just to reevaluate things. I agreed, but held out hope that we still had a future together. When they didn't see me or even text for a month afterward, I knew it was over. So what was the end result? Well, I took a few days off from my job at a food store and life in general to spend some time working through the grief and quietly reflecting on things. And by that, I mean I drank copious amounts of box wine, watched hours and after hours. Maybe they meant watched hours after hours, because they wrote watched hour and after hours of
I don't know what
Hallmark
that
movies.
means.
Yeah, breaking the flow. My own fault, right? For not auto-correcting these people's. Ate nothing but flaming hot Cheetos with my right hand and diddled myself with the left, all while softly weeping into a pair of dirty underwear. You know, write a song, motherfucker. Which was the only item of clothing my SO had left behind. Ew. By the sixth such day, I began to feel painful, cramping sensation in my upper abdomen. Turned out to be a precursor to diarrhea. Not just any diarrhea, though. It was of an orange-red hue. Since my loose stools are traditionally a light shade of mocha, I knew it was time to visit a physician. During my exam, I filled the doctor in on all my recent activities, just anybody who can listen, huh? Making sure to leave out not one bit of information, even the stained undies. He considered what I told him for a minute, and then told me the first thing I had to do was dry out. I explained to him that masturbating 9 times a day was a crucial part of my grieving process, and I wasn't about to give it up. Plus, it was difficult to stay dry when Jason London is filling the screen of my television with his dashing yet underachieving good looks. You faggot. Also, who was this so-called doctor to tell me that what I can and cannot do with my incognito burrito anyway? After all, what?
Why did he tell him everything?
I guess, look, there's logic behind telling a doctor everything. You know what I mean? He can give you a better, he can formulate a better conclusion, with more information, about, what may be going on with you. So it makes sense for him to tell him. Let's not, lose ourselves in a story that we're just trying to get to the end of here. After all, there are dozens of more of his elk on Craigslist that are perfectly willing to examine me without a patronizing demeanor. He would go to a Craigslist physician. As it turns out, however, he actually meant that I should stop drinking for a few weeks. Idiot. I told him I would definitely not drink any more alcohol whatsoever before 11 in the morning unless it was a holiday like Thanksgiving or 4th of July or Black History or the Year of the Rat. Ha ha ha. Is this guy getting off reading this shit? Well, I mean, writing it. I'm not getting off reading it. I wish it was something that I could get. Shut up, Kyle. He gave me a funny look, like he was rethinking some of the choices he'd made in life, then continued with his diagnosis. It turns out that the discomfort that I had suffered was brought on by the Cheetos. Apparently, consuming flaming hot in excess can give one acute gastritis. I told him that there was nothing cute about the watery Dugan I dropped in his office's restroom before my exam had begun, so maybe he wanted to change his diagnosis. He told me I should revisit my strategy for taking number 2s, particularly any aspect involving the keeping of feces off the walls, and also that I should look into eating something that wasn't made out of cheese dust. I reluctantly took his advice, as well as a pamphlet with full color illustrations depicting sexually transmitted infections in the human male. In the event, a Hallmark movie came on in which Jason London did not appear. Took one more dumper, this time in the men's room. He took the other one in the...
Can we stop, though?
Something integrity demands that I complete a story that I began, right, Stripes? In the days that followed my Simpsons clip of Simpsons. In the days that followed, my symptoms cleared up for the most part, and I felt healed enough, both emotionally and physically, to return to work and also to the dating pool as well. Yes, I kept eating flamin' hot Cheetos, but I made sure to dip them in sour cream before taking them into my mouth for safety. Much easier to digest this way, plus it keeps the Cheetos dust from turning my fingers, lips, and privates orange. So what have I been up to since? I downloaded a dating app called Tinder. Now, Stripes, we can stop reading. Do you understand? That's where you stop reading.
Man, he seems like such a douchebag. I don't blame the girl,
Here's what you
honestly,
have to
for not.
understand. It's Vargas. God damn it, I fell for it. It's freaking Vargas. How is he not tagged?
Who's Vargas?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh. Don't freaking worry about it. Don't freaking worry about it. Oh my god. It's freaking Vargas. We're not in the mood. The he got me stripes. That's time that none of us will ever get back. You know, sometimes people tell stories, right? And you think to yourself, man, it's scary that there are other people like this in the world. You know what I mean? But there are certain people out there on Reddit specifically that are trying to capture the idea of the perfect Redditor. And I'll never forget this one time I read this story about some guy and then somebody else like completely ignoring everything they were talking about, and the story was like, you know, you can use chopsticks to eat Cheetos and to dip them into like your various dipping cheeses. You're dipping Cheetos into cheese, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Chopsticks to dip Cheetos into cheese. You know what I mean? What kind of neckbeard professor? Number 29, maybe, right? This man. Oh, not number 29. Not sure if this counts as a denied proposal. Haven't we? Do you know what I mean? Did you forget with me what list this was? Jesus Christ. I forgot what list this was.
Inspector, but
You know, not sure if this counts as a denied proposal, but I think it is. My boyfriend and I have been together for like 5-ish years or so. So I was trying to kind of hint that I wanted to be engaged. We had talked about marriage before, and we were both on board. We had both lived together since we were since we very first started dating. So I told him I needed to talk to him about something. I made a nice dinner and asked him, "Will you marry me?" And he said, "Oh, of course I want to marry you. You know that." I was unsure on his answer, so I asked, "Okay, so when are we going to get married? Like, we are engaged." And he said, I mean, someday, yes." I lost sleep over it. I was so embarrassed, and he wasn't fazed. Come to find out that he had no idea it was a proposal. So we sat down and talked about becoming engaged, and then boom, engaged. Picked a date that night and started announcing to the family a couple of days after. Are you guys married yet? When did this happen? You can't just say to a guy, "Hey, I want to be married." And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I see that." And then she's like, "Okay, we're engaged now. Now we are engaged. Thank you. Thank you. We are engaged now. Gotcha." Like, what? Number 28, man. Jesus, man. Some of these women are like sharks. Shark women. Kill me. You know what I'm talking about, Stripes? Anyway, number 28. I'm from South India. Proposed to her and got rejected right away. The reason is that her parents won't accept the marriage outside their caste. Interesting. Long story? I waited and she accepted me after 3 years, and it took another 5 years to convince both of our families. Married in 2011 and expecting our second child next month. Good for him, you know? It's nice that they could, break the customs of wherever they're from. Because, customs suck ass. Number 27. My mom refused my dad multiple times. Apparently my dorky engineer chubby father somehow convinced my cute nurse mom to date him. And 2 months in, he wanted to lock her down. Shoot for the sky kind of thing. Months later, she finally said yes, and they've been happily married ever since. So kawaii. Some response says, what?
Some people like chubby men, though.
What are you trying to say?
Dead bodies.
Oh my god. Just because I'm gonna lose it. Somebody's gonna buy me a Fitbit, and then I'm gonna be sexy.
Yeah, they're gonna buy you parasite eggs that you can ingest.
If I could synergize Fitbit with parasitic eggs, or maybe some sort of tapeworms. Why are Fitbits so expensive? Hey,
wait, what
why
are
are
these?
$79 is the cheapest Fitbit? What's this one? This one looks good. It's $40, so what's that big deal?
Look. I think you should get the Pokemon Go thing. The
You think I
thing
should get Pokemon
instead.
Go Plus?
Yes,
But
instead.
that's
It would
not
have
gonna
no
track
effect.
how much I want something to look
Your phone
at the end of the
though?
month, and then it'll be all like, "You've done this, my child," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I did it." Well, you always got to call attention how fat I am. Jesus
I
Christ.
wasn't trying to call fat on you. I was trying to be cute.
Look, man, number 26. My mom had been going out with my dad for a few weeks. I can't believe this is turning into like a Kyle rejection story. Because, like, the biggest titty chick that I've ever known, that I probably can't even remember, would have said no had I asked her to marry me if I were into marriage, which I am not. Man, that's a long way to go for an anecdote, isn't it, Kyle?
Are you into monogamy?
I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back to you on that. Are we now technically engaged, Tripes? Are we now engaged? You know what I mean? Because, like,
I'll
I
let you
love
know
that.
in a few days. I'll ask you.
I love the idea that, like, a girl just goes, I'm trying to get married, and then he goes, oh yeah, I see, yeah, totally, marriage is okay, and then in her mind she's like, we married now, right? We engaged right now. What you mean you don't know we engaged? You don't know we mean engaged? You know what I'm talking about? We engaged. Superstitious Stripes. So number 26. My mom had been going out with my dad for a few weeks. One day she said to him, we're getting married. And he said, I'll have to think about it. And she said, it wasn't a question. Last week they celebrated their 48th anniversary. I bet you it really did go down like that too. That's interesting. I mean, different strokes for different folks, Stripes.
I mean, some guys really like girls that like know what they want.
And some guys like being dominated. So there's that.
True.
I'm not one of them. Number 25, not exactly the question, but a man I had known briefly proposed to me on the 4th date. I said no, and he gave me the ring and asked me to consider it a promise ring. Flags and sirens everywhere, but I said okay to spare his feelings and continued to go out with him for a little while, hoping that something would develop between us from my end. I mean, it's not every day you meet someone who is so crazy about you. It turns out he was just crazy, in general. Sorry for the pejorative term. He was mentally ill, but crazy just fits the story. And I came to understand that with time. I broke up with him and returned the ring, and he appeared to take it very badly. A few weeks later, he shot up a mall. I'm kidding. A few weeks later, I heard he was dating someone else. Like, that's not funny. You laughed at it too. That's bad. You're bad. You're bad for me, Stripes. So we can't be making these jokes. Remember what I said earlier when I heard a siren and it was pissing me off because it was interrupting my recording? I was saying that I wish I lived in a worse neighborhood and that somebody would pull out a gun and shoot a cop and then literally turn off the siren so I could have a recording that had decent audio, and then they should direct the car in the direction of a canal. You know what I mean? And then just, maybe let it drift right on into that canal as if they wouldn't be able to find the cop car. You know what I mean? Going into something as shallow as a canal, it's not like at the ocean and the car is going to get washed out. Even if it was in the ocean, they'd have found it. Now listen, that is obviously a joke, okay? But there's probably an older person listening to this just wanting like a BuzzFeed styled list who hates all of these stupid things that I'm always flying off on that aren't list related because, I'm ADD. And either I go off on these things or I just get bored and want to go to sleep in the middle of the list. And then you're just sitting there wondering how you could slide one of your crazy Perla jokes in there, edgewise. You know what I mean? What's the best joke you got right now?
I'm just waiting for the day where you make a Poseidon BuzzFeed video with the slides and everything. It'd be the day you probably kill yourself, to be honest.
Did you just say Poseidon?
No.
I'm pretty sure that's in the video. People are going to be able to go back to see. The word that Stripes was looking for was pseudo. I asked the girl for a joke, dude, and she gave one, and she just opened her mouth. That's all. Poseidon, y'all. I can't handle you, Stripes. Nobody can. The world's not ready. You better put a lid on that shit, man. Ooh, you better put a lid on that.
I'm sorry, you have to be my keeper.
Jesus Christ, Poseidon, y'all. Number 24. Oh man, we back to long list. Okay. We've been
Wait,
dating.
actually, is it?
What?
Just look at the user that's posting this first, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't recognize him. So, Mr. Ramblin' Rose. He got Ramblin' right in the name, though. That's interesting.
They've got an ear to listen.
Number 24. You know, we had been dating for 6.5 years at the time. We went on vacation to Hawaii for her 21st birthday because we wanted to make it something to remember. I planned to propose to her on the beach somewhere. I ended up choosing Waimea Beach, to the north shore of Oahu. She was coming back from the waves and I popped the question. I'm gonna cough. She was ecstatic and said yes. This is about denials. You better get to the denial in the story.
It must be like cold feet. I don't know.
We had a very romantic couple of days after that before we flew home. Fast forward to 5 months later, we are out bar hopping with her sister and her husband, who had just got out of the military. The husband and the sister are moving to a base in Germany, and they are staying for a couple of weeks in our town. Her sister and her were together talking for most of the night, and the husband insisted, oh Jesus, that we hang out and play pool together and shoot the shit. Keep coughing, I don't know why. That's fine, he's a cool guy, and she hasn't seen her sister in months. We got home from the bar around 12 in the morning, and all hell breaks loose. She starts screaming at me about how I'm a piece of shit, and that I don't do chores around the house, and that she had to repair a piece of my car that we both use, and that I should have done that, and otherwise petty problems. It escalated to her shoving me as hard as she could into the bathroom, where I fell into the tub and hit my head. Eventually she went upstairs and I cried in disbelief for most of the night. Finally fell asleep around 5:30 in the morning. She wakes me up at 8 or so because she wants to talk about it, and I tell her to wait because she made me cry and freak out all night. I wake up at 10 a.m. and she says to me that she doesn't want to spend the rest of her life with me anymore, and that she wants to know what it's like to be single. Nigga, you dodged a bullet. What made her this way, her sister or the alcohol? Or both? She thinks my hobbies, snowboarding and climbing, how active, are too dangerous. Bunch of other reasons that aren't real reasons. She had all of her stuff moved out with the help of her sister and husband by the end of the day. When I returned home after work, she had left the ring, a framed picture of us I gave her as a gift, and the bottle of wine that was bottled on the same day we got together, that we were saving for our wedding night. That was exactly 1 month ago. I've tried to contact her since and have gotten no response or explanation for her crazy behavior. Don't even know where she is staying, as we had mostly only mutual friends and she's not with any of them. Her sister and husband are in Germany now. She took one of the dogs as well. Rest in peace, your inbox, homie. In a way, I feel like you dodged a bullet. In a way, I'm feeling like maybe she wanted to get away from you for a while and just made this big theatrical thing when she had her people on deck to help her, transition out of your place. But holy shit. Somebody said this might be extremely blunt, but if you've been dating for 5 to 6 years and she's only 21, then it sounds like she just wasn't ready for that kind of commitment. Yeah, nigga, you dealing with a little kid. You know what I mean? An extremely temperamental female. Some women need to reach age 27, 28 before they're even comfortable enough with themselves to know just their capacity for popping the fuck off. You know what I mean? And this doesn't even have anything to do with alcohol. Like, some women don't even know what they're like yet until they hit, I want to say, mid-life. You could literally take a chick that's below the age of 26 and have them freak out about something stupid and record them, play that video back for them, and they would be shocked at what they're watching because they just don't know what the hell they're capable of. So, I don't think that this just happened in the span of a night when they went out with her sister and the sister's husband. I think it was something that in a way was kind of premeditated. Maybe she wanted to get away from the guy, so she just let it all bottle up, you know what I mean? And then this night when she had these people on deck to get out, what?
I think she was hoping that he would get mad and not sad, so maybe he wouldn't miss her. Um, and maybe I think she was really trying to push his buttons, and it just went the other way.
I think she had an outburst that had been building for a while. I think that it wasn't a coincidence that the sister and the sister and the husband were there, because, with their help, they moved out same day. You know what I mean? I don't think that's just something that comes out of nowhere. Even if the sister had a hand in it where she was like trying to convince her that the guy wasn't good for her, I think maybe this was something that was building up for a while and she was planning to just get out of his life the same day. It clearly devastated this guy, and so much so that I don't even want to dwell on it because it brings me down. That shit kind of bums me the hell out. But trust me, man, some women know what the hell was up. And I like to think that this girl knew before that day that she wanted to get out of this dude's life.
But why'd she have to do it in a way that she'd hurt him so bad?
Because some women need to make themselves the victim. Some women always need to make themselves the victim. So she got to make it about him. You know what I mean? What's it like to be single? You know what I mean? I think the things that you do are stupid. I can't believe I had to fix something that both of us use. You know what I mean? Like, she would have turned any little silly petty thing into some big deal. And she could honestly, it's framed perfectly. It could be slid under the umbrella of, she became inebriated after a night of drinking. You know what I mean? And but here's the thing, she started getting physical with this nigga, and of course, based on how this is written and how shocked he was in the years that they've been together, it's likely that she's never gotten to that kind of point before where she's getting physical, she's screaming, blah blah blah. If he's reduced to tears, you know what I mean, we only got two options. It's like, either you a bitch baby pussy boy and this is the type of reaction that you're used to, you're like, you get bullied and you succumb to that pressure, or this was a shock and he seems stunned in this instance.
Stunned and heartbroken.
So yeah, I mean, dodge the bullet. There's so many sweet little loser guys that are willing to just bend over backwards for their female. So all you got to do is find a female that's willing to bend over backwards for you as well. Find something where you can establish something mutual and be happy. He did not belong with somebody like this. And, it may be much to assess from a quick little story written by somebody that we don't know. But again, the girl is young, okay? And the worst part is, like, and this is going to be a little bit real for, I guess, anybody listening, but sometimes you don't know yourself. So trying to establish something, especially long lasting with another person, when they're trying to get to know you, is extremely difficult because who you are is subject to change. I've said this in the past, you can find something with somebody. Say you find somebody right now and you like who they are right now and they like who you are right now. Both of you are going to be changing. So, like, literally, even if you stayed the same and they changed, there's no way to know that who they change into, they would even like who you are right now, let alone who you end up changing into, right? So you ice that cake with people not knowing themselves. So how can other people know them if they don't know themselves? Do you know where I'm coming from with that? It's like, it's almost impossible. Relationships are constant work because everyone is constantly changing. It's constantly going to take effort to keep this thing working, to keep this thing, greased as a machine with mechanisms that are working towards a common goal, because sometimes people working towards goals that kind of just shift off of each other's tracks, and that kind of subtle issue is not a big deal in the, like, right now, but in the long term you got a problem. But let's get off it. What?
I wish it was as easy as just making each other happy,
Man, life ain't easy, unfortunately. Number 23. Maybe. I turned down a proposal using the excuse that he was drunk. He was, but I knew he was serious. I drove him home and tried the old "I want to be friends" speech, but he shut me down. He said if I didn't love him, he would just have to get over me. And he got out of the car and walked away. A day later, I realized what a fucking idiot I was. And I called him, and tomorrow is our 26th anniversary. Get these stupid ass lovey-dovey shits the fuck out of my thread. Do you feel me? I am looking for denied proposal stripes.
You're looking for shells of human beings.
I'm looking for people that, like, you know, I'm gonna kill myself tonight, but I just wanted to tell you all.
You're fucking terrible.
You're the one laughing at shit. Did you hear all of that just came out of you? That laughter erupted out of you, just like, oh my god, I love this man. You're crazy. You're rude.
I love you.
Oh my god. Get over it. And then I'm gonna walk out of the car. And then you're gonna call me, realizing what an idiot you are, but I'll have changed my number by then. That's real life, okay? And then, like, you could play like a song by Coldplay as the camera pans off. You know what I'm talking about?
I would find a way.
You think you're gonna get a sequel? Listen, number 22. I asked her once over the course of 5 years, and she said no twice, so I told her I wouldn't ask her again. 5 years later, she proposed to me in a hotel called 42. I'm a huge Hitchhiker's Guide fan, using an iPod. I'm a huge Gadget fan. Moving on. Number 21, man. Oh, sweet God. Oh, God, it's from a woman named Foxy Jessica. Let me go ahead and tag her. Wonder how big them titties be. Okay. Oh God, I have a story, she said, jiggling as she wrote. My good friend was dating this guy for nearly 2 years. I could tell things were getting a bit stale with them, and one day we went out to get lunch and she told me that she was going to break it off with the guy. She seemed far more stressed about hurting the guy, and he was an alright person in my book, but anywho, she's telling me how she's going to do it, and she was asking for advice. Right in the middle of me giving her some input, the guy comes in and looks a bit frantic. She must have told him that she was going there to meet me. He musters up the courage and walks right to our table, completely ignoring me. He gets on one knee and pulls out a ring, and the dude was shaking so much, and I was in awe of the worst timing ever. This is what we're all here for. Everybody's like, yeah, baby. This is what I came to this list for.
This man is at the end of his rope.
My mouth was open in shock. People around saw that I was excited, so everyone gathers around the table and starts cheering. The guy asked my friends, and my friend just got up and walked out to her car and drove off. I almost died from secondhand embarrassment. Oh yeah, somebody just got off. And listen to the stripes. Anyway, all I remember is the gasps and snickering from the people around me. And he just sat there in his place looking crushed. I didn't know what to say. I feel kind of bad. So I just got the check ASAP and gave him a pat on the back. He's doing better the last I heard. This has been about a year now. My friend is still recovering from the whole ordeal. That was a Hail Mary proposal, yeah. He should have saw the writing on the wall. Hi-yo. I feel about that, Stripes.
I feel so bad for the guy, but he knew what he was getting himself into. He must have seen that she was losing interest.
Hail Mary proposal is right. That's a last-ditch effort. That's desperation. You know. He probably knows what he did to bring the relationship to so stale.
He probably figured that there was no way he could shame him in public. Like,
man. Number 21. When I popped the question, she declared it an amazing proposal and then began immediately planning a huge wedding for us. I was a bit terrified as she began reeling off the names of potential bridesmaids. I guess I'll have to narrow it down to 6. Who you picking so it's balanced? I bluffed, then began going to meetup.com groups and posting strictly platonic ads on Craigslist so I could make guy friends to fill out the wedding party. I found a guy on Craigslist, but unfortunately he introduced me to the joys of drinking. I always thought beer tasted like piss, but I discovered I have a cast iron stomach that can handle the hard liquor straight up. Being perpetually drunk made the socializing easier. The saddest part came when my new best friend and I were sitting on the sofa on Sunday morning watching the Seahawks play as the Packers. We did shots every time Madden called Favre a gunslinger. When my fiance got home from a round of burpees at the gym, she dropped her engagement ring in my glass and said, "You need this rock more than I do." Too long didn't read, the fiance called off the engagement after I devolved into a fat drunk. Somebody said this sounded like the plot of I Love You, Man, but yours didn't end up happily ever after. Yeah, part of me wanted to be like he met a guy and then he fell in love with the guy or something. But how sad is that? Is that like, if we were to have a marriage right now, I wouldn't be able to find 3 dudes to be a best man. Do you know what I mean? So the idea is that of the sadness involved in him having to go online onto like something like Craigslist to find like strangers to pass off as freaking friends at a wedding.
Yeah, holy shit.
And then worse, that they encourage bad habits in him. It's just awful. That sounds terrible.
You might as well just get, I don't know, a pet bird to fill in for you as your best man.
Like at a JonTron wedding?
Well, of course. Tiny bow tie.
Here's the thing, man. Like, naturally, fact is stranger than fiction. So if we've seen it in a television show or a bad movie, then yes, it has happened somewhere in real life. But you just don't want to think about life as being that sad. You want to think to yourself, okay, if somebody's having a marriage, that it's only about them and the person that they're getting married to, and that, yeah, if they have some stupid ceremony, that it's more for the sake of the woman and her family and friends. If you don't have friends to be best men, you don't need to just fill out those roles with like random people. You know what I mean? But this guy got onto the internet via Craigslist to find random strangers to befriend, and then they got him into drinking. Oh my God. How sad. How sad.
Don't worry though. You'll never have to make more than like you're the kind of person that doesn't deal with people if he doesn't have to. Or like
I think the saddest part of this specifically is that he felt so strongly
like to
inclined to fit the mold of this traditional social bullshit that is a wedding, that he could not, I guess, what is it, embarrassment that leads you to just be like, oh, I don't have best men, nigga, that's what do you want? You know what I mean? Couldn't I just pick like niggas in my family to be the best men? Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. If we have to have this stupid ceremony, this ceremony ain't for me. So I'm gonna go on the internet and befriend strangers, and the strangers are gonna get me to do things that I wouldn't normally do. And now like my habits are changed. I don't get it. And it's sad. But thank God she got out of a relationship with so loose a fucking monkey.
That was a classy. I mean, it's still utterly embarrassing for him, I'm sure, but a classy way to end shit like that. I think she was implying that he should get with him, which is cute in itself. I
mean, I wouldn't go that far. Toothy Grin writes in number 22, mine was more of a shit or get off the pot deal. We had been together on and off for 5 years, and she kept coming back and telling me she couldn't live without me, then get sick of my shit and drop me for a few months at a time. And make no mistake, I was no esteem whiner back then. She knew I'm the marrying type, but she could not commit. Finally, after I moved into my own apartment, away from my 2 shut up, Gael. She asked me to move in. I basically countered with a marriage proposal, knowing in the back of my head that she would likely say no. That's what happened. And we never got back together. 18 months later, I met the woman of my dreams, and now we have been happily married for over 15 years. Worked out just fine, thanks. So basically, some woman that had been on again, off again, wanted to jump onto the opportunity to share a space with him because he's getting his own apartment now. And he was all like, will you marry me? And she was like, no. And then he was like, okay, bye. Gotcha. I'm going to have to try that. Somebody else says, oh man, what if she called your bluff and said yes, though? Then you would have to have had up the ante and plan the most elaborate wedding to try and scare her off. This is a movie. This is a movie writing itself. Again, she calls your bluff, and the game of romantic chicken continues. Marriage, honeymoon in Paris. Both of you are too stubborn to back down, so you just keep trying to one-up each other in the hopes that the other will finally break. Spontaneous romantic gestures, expensive engagement gifts, vacation to some of the most romantic locations in the world, eventually children, then grandchildren. Everyone is jealous of your perfect life, but deep down you hate each other more and more. Finally, you die in bed together, surrounded by loved ones. You lie there wrapped in seemingly loving embrace as you stare at each other with hate-filled eyes, both hoping the other will die first so you can finally claim victory. I mean, that's probably what would have happened. This needs to be a movie. The rom-com equivalent of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Oh my god. Number 20. Right? Right?
Do you want me to count now?
You know, that's something that you could have handled, you know, for every list that we've ever done, but it's too much work for you, isn't it?
Well, you've never really put me to task.
I've never asked you to do it. So you're saying that, okay, look, Stripes, since I've never asked you to do it, what I want you to do is I want you to be the new channel pimp. And I want you to find one chick with very large breasts to become the mascot of this channel that we can use for maybe intros, maybe outros, you know, just jiggling all over on camera. You know, her face doesn't need to look that great because, you know, we can just pan down to the jugs. And, you know, now that I've asked you that, you can't claim that, you know, the reason that you haven't done it is because you haven't been asked. Okay. Okay, Stripes? Stripes? Hello?
You can't see it, but there's tears streaming down my face.
Shut up, Stripes. Why? I'm surprised he didn't just say, yes, sir, Mr. Kayase.
My office is already under your desk, so I think we're fine.
Under my desk. Implications. You know, you wish, Stripples. That's a good one, Stripples. Nah, hopefully nobody remembers that. Because you're going to be screwed if people start calling you Stripples. Anyway, number 20. I'm the denier. Ooh, they start off the story by letting us know that they're the one who denied. Anyway, I'd been dating this girl for 6 months, and it was going pretty well. We hardly ever fought, but when we did, it was hard for us to get back to normal. At a good point, she said, I feel like I should pop the question. A word? A word, female? I have absolutely no poker face, and she instantly saw that I wasn't on board. As a child of the 80s, all of my friends had parents who'd divorced, and I'd made an oath to myself that I was just going to be married once. I liked this girl a lot, but I wasn't convinced yet that what we had was going to last forever. So we stayed together, went to couples counseling, and learned how to fight. It sounds strange, but I can't tell you how effective it was. We learned that my conflict pattern is to constantly work on a problem until it's solved, where her pattern is just to blow off steam over time. The result was that I would keep conversations going when we fought and would basically chase her around, keeping her mad and blocking her attempts at breaking off to cool down. I learned to just let her be mad and check back in later, and she learned to say, I just need to be by myself for a bit. It worked. Our good relationship with rough fights turned into great relationship with mature, low drama fights. God damn it, Kyle. Conflicts that used to be oh God, hold on, see, we doing this so long that like I gotta stop to like deal with shit in my eye and all kind of crap.
Oh, I thought your mouth was getting dry.
That's true too. Why don't you tell them an anecdote while I look for my, there it is. That's pretty
Has
good.
your sister ever sit in your face, Kaya?
I don't have a sister, and I think you know that if I did have one, that she wouldn't spit in my face. Let's save that anecdote until the end of the video, please, so it'll give some...
What does it have to do with proposal?
Nothing. You were the one who was going to bleed into it, and then you took so long to do it that now that I'm done drinking, it doesn't even matter. Can we return to the monkey balls, okay? Conflicts that used to hang like a dark cloud over the house for days were now resolved in hours. At that point, I felt comfortable enough to say yes to a year-long engagement. And now we've been married for 18 years, have supported each other over thick and thin, and are raising 2 awesome kids. Well, learning how to communicate, yes, is a big deal in a relationship, you piece of shit. Number 19, not falling for it, BuzzFeed, haha, get it? Because it implies that the question is just fishing for the type of article that you would see on BuzzFeed, you know, like the type of video that like a guy might make. 26.
You know?
Denied proposal stories coming in at number 26. I said, she said no, and then I ate the ring pop. Number 25. Fucking.
I don't think you can be any more disappointed in me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you.
Shut up.
Okay.
No, seriously. What were you gonna say, Stripes?
I saw a BuzzFeed video where they blended a bunch of pizzas together and ate it like a shake.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with you seeing something like that. Like, I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna be mad at you for watching a BuzzFeed video.
I only have tolerance when it involves food. Otherwise, they're just kind of political, and it's not their place. Holy shit!
I can't believe they blended up pizzas together and drank it. Like, come on. I guess it's something. I guess I wish I had the nerve to make some gross factor videos on my channel where it's just like the only thing making you watch is going like, why would somebody do that?
Then they were asked to like tell them which pizzas belong to which franchise, and no one can really get that right.
Number 18, Stripes. Not my story, but the best I've ever heard. My friend's parents met at a bar down the shore. Her dad was crazy about her mom, but it was unrequited. She slept with him anyway, just a one-night stand, and ignored him after that until she found out she was pregnant. He was over the moon, and he was intent on having the baby. He tried to be with her, but she consistently refused him, proposed to her several times, ended in eye rolls and exasperated no's from her each time. After 9 months, she went into labor and let him come with her into the delivery room. Just her and this guy who had been begging her to marry him. A few hours into labor, the doctor started to notice something was wrong. The baby's heartbeat was slowing rapidly. The mother started to panic, but the father stayed calm. He stayed with her and communicated information from the doctors. But there was little anyone could do. She delivered a stillborn. After everything happened, my friend's mom realized she found her soulmate. They finally got together and are still married to this day. What an emotional roller coaster, somebody said.
That could have gone 2 ways, to be honest. I didn't think like the death of a baby would bring someone together.
It would have gone another way if it was me. Let me tell you how it would go. All right, so say like it's just the finest lady in the world. She's sexy as hell. She play video games. You know what I mean? She's a weeb. You know, she's very versed in memes. You know, she's a dank female. She's pretty chill. We're not the type to get into arguments and stuff like that. But she's just not interested in me. She bangs me one time just as like a one-off, and is just not trying to have it. But ooh, score, Stripes. She becomes pregnant. So I'm proposing. I'm trying to get her into the miggy schlizzle, trying to lock it up, trying to flip it up, flip it down, make sure we all over town together and my hoopty droopty floopty whoopty. Look, you see where I'm going. We're in the delivery room. She delivers a stillborn baby. You know what I mean? I've been there the whole time, supportive, caring. You know what I mean? Totally calm, keeping her tied to the real world, things that are going on. And suddenly she's just like, thank you for being here with me. I can't believe how much of a tether you have been in this situation, how much of a rock, a firm, something that I could just stand on, right? And then I go, oh, so now the baby dad, you want to be with me? Bitch, see you later. And then I'd play, the Gary Oak theme in the video game when he walks away. It's like pop my collar. Number 16. I proposed after dating my girlfriend for 2 years, and I was about to graduate college and move away, and she was a year behind me. Okay. I had the ring, everything perfectly planned. We discussed our future together, and when I proposed, she initially said yes. About half an hour later, she seemed off. I asked her if something was wrong, and she said that she needed to think, and we talked for a while, and then she changed her answer. She said we were too young. She wanted to be on her own for a while, to be independent, etc. Joke's on her now, though, because now we're married. You stupid cutie. Ugh. Whatever. I'm tired of these happy stories. All right.
Is that why you didn't finish it?
Well, the rest is just edits.
Oh, okay.
About how I didn't expect this much attention. Wow, I've never been so famous as on the internet. Fucking just keep it cool. Just play cool. What?
It's like the Emmy Award they needed.
My God, I'd like to thank my mother. Like, after number 13, after a Christmas vacation, we were home and I asked her about marriage. I don't want to marry you. I never wanted to marry you. I never will marry you. Followed by a 30-minute speech about missing her single life. I died a little inside, honestly. Tried to make it work, but now I realized I stopped trying after that. 8 months later and she moves out. 3 months after that, she's begging me to take her back. She wants to get married. She wants to own a house. And I'm just too hurt to believe her. Therapy is helping, but a 5-year relationship died that day and I miss it. But I'm not sure I miss her anymore. Good. Her addiction and alcoholism played a major role in her choice and feelings. Fuck that hoe. She had apparently been using for a few months and kept it hidden. Fuck that hoe. If you need help quitting heroin, go find it. Nigga, like, what? When you're in a relationship with somebody and you can't be real with them or go to them with your shit, if they're not invested in you enough to hear about your problems or be there for you, what's the point? Y'all in a relationship and you're supposed to be together, even if it's not a monogamous one. If there are other people on deck that you feel more comfortable with and can go to first for other shit, why are you with this other person? Why aren't you with these people that you feel more comfortable with? I will not and cannot ever condone you or anyone being in a relationship with a nigga they ain't comfortable with, if they're doing it for any other reason than to just pass the time. You know what I mean? To just have somebody on the down low. One of my favorite quotes from American Dad is when a koala is like talking about some chick that he's dating, and he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna marry her, but she don't need to know that. I'm like, that's messed up, man. Okay, but it's healthy for you to know where you stand in a relationship. It's just better if both parties know where they stand. And that's been a Kyle Monkey. Let's go ahead and move on, Straps. What are we on, like 11?
No.
What?
Like 14 or something.
Nice. Nice, Stripes. Like 14 or something. This is going to be buried, but here's my story. I was at the beach with my best girl. I had planned everything out. There is a beautiful bench overlooking the ocean. We went and sat on the bench, and just as I was about to propose, a couple started walking by and talking loudly. No problem. I'll just wait until there's no people around. I was apparently mumbling to myself. It took 30 minutes. Finally, when there was a break in the people, I pretended like I had to tie my shoe and then proposed. I was so nervous I just blurted out, "Marriage party." She laughed and looked confused with a tint of pity. After collecting herself, she said no and asked to go back to the car. I felt dejected. I wanted to walk into the ocean and keep going until I died or found a mermaid bride. When we were at the car, she said, "Let's try again." I assumed she meant our relationship, like to work on it. She asked me to propose again. I asked her to marry me, and then said marriage party again because my brain is broken. Marriage party? Oh man, she said yes. Our wedding anniversary is in 2 weeks.
I hope he got that like made into a quilt or something.
Marriage party. Let's try that again. Marriage party? Number 13. She said no. I gotta write that down. I gotta write down marriage party. That's a pretty good one. What's like something party related I could put on a wish list? Streamers. That's stupid. Give me something good though.
What are those little things that make like a weird honking sound?
The one that goes.
Yes, those.
Little blow party things. Dude, you think if I type blow and party that it'll just let me just say, I think it would know what I'm talking about. Party blowers. Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for. I'll be damned if any of those end up on a wish list though. Like, I may be crazy, but this is genuinely something. Well, how
about we find a middle ground and buy a kazoo instead?
Somebody played me happy birthday on a kazoo one time.
You told me. I heard it too.
What a wild life we're living. Jesus.
It's not like they were there in person. They made a video for you.
Look. Number 13. She said no. I got a dog and a case of beer and lived happily ever after. Is this a country song? That's good. She said no when I proposed, but I got a dog and a case of beer and I lived happily after. Sorry. I don't see a truck mentioned, so absolutely not. Yeah. Needs to be a truck in the country song. So I put my dog in the bed of my truck and we laughed and we didn't give a fuck. I drank a beer going down the I-95.
Did the dog laugh too?
What?
Was the dog laughing too?
Of course the dog was laughing. Of course.
That's terrifying. I don't want to think about laughing dogs.
Laughing dog in the bed of my pickup truck. Oh my God. You can't afford not to drive a Ford. Which is a better pickup truck for Chevy songs these days? Is it Chevy songs? Is it a Chevy truck or a Ford truck? God, Kyle, we stay on track here.
Whoever pays them more, Kyle.
Whoever's sponsor. I wish my videos could be sponsored by somebody someday, huh? 2012. That's a movie. I can't do this. Number 12. How long have we been doing this? Oh shit, it's been an hour already, but we only got like 10 left. Number 12. You like that? You like that?
I do.
Like, number. Why are you sending me pictures of are you sending me videos of like quacky quack duckers?
No, one of them's a duck, the other one's a goose. And
you know what the worst part was? That I think I like made the mistake of letting it run after that video. So it really got into some stupid shit. Right? And what I know now is that my algorithms are all destroyed.
I'm sorry.
My algorithms are all destroyed, which means like everything on the right side of the my recommended videos or whatever are just going to be really broken. I saw one of like this duck on this kid and he's like just, and his dad is just laughing, right? And the kid really wants to get up. Like he clearly needs some kind of help here.
Is it attacking him or trying to mate with him?
No, it's just messing with his head.
But goose can hurt people.
And
I don't think
like
it needs
the kid
to.
On top. This is the one that I liked. You're so crazy, Stripes. Send me duck and geese videos. This is the shit I wake up to and I'm looking at it from you. Anyway, number 11? She said no
12.
because she didn't think we were ready yet.
It's 12.
You said that this was number 13 or something, or
No,
did you
you
say
just made the
14?
joke 2012. 14, 13, 12.
You're right. This time. She said no, because she didn't think we were ready yet. She was a senior in college, I had graduated, but I hadn't found a good job in my field. After graduation, and after her getting a professional job, and me getting a not quite so crappy job, we got married exactly 1 year later. On the anniversary of the day, she said no the first time. 19 years and 4 kids later, it's going pretty well. Fuck you guys and your happy pussy ass endings.
4 kids.
Why are people so charmed by this horseshit and they're elevating it straight up to the top? Let me make sure that
geese are monogamous.
How do you know that? Is this the animal fact list? God, we need to find a list with animals so you can just shine all over the crap. Are we gonna finish this list? Allow me some time to adjust this microphone because I'm like leaning down and it's super uncomfortable. Give me a second.
A lot of birds are monogamous, actually.
I'd like to thank Stripes for remaining utterly silent while I was adjusting the microphones, just like letting everybody collect their thoughts. Just nothing like dead air on these videos. Jesus Christ! And then you said something. What did you say at the end? That was the great part.
Birds are monogamous.
A lot of birds are monogamous. You know. If you guys would like to subscribe to Stripes' newsletter, Number 11, man. Proposed to my girlfriend after she got off work on Monday with her favorite meal prepared, and the apartment all lit with candles, rose petals on the floor after having a special weekend together. She's shy and promised violence if proposed to in public. She said no, 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 no when I asked her to marry me as she came in the door to our apartment. She worked in the medical field and had puke all over her. She showered and said yes. And on her worst day, she will remember that you love her enough to marry her covered in puke. Somebody said that the same guy proposed to me 5 times. I finally agreed, and the day before we were supposed to get married, I got horrible diarrhea. I still try not to even fart in front of him. I was mortified. He sweetly sat in the living room, playing music while everything I'd ever eaten in my whole life came pouring out of me at Mach 5. It was so rotten that it made me cry. Now, I don't usually subscribe to the whole "if you can handle me at my worst" mantra, so I was well prepared for him to pack his bags and surrender me and the apartment to the bacteria in my butt that works too, and that had so clearly taken charge of our lives. He married me anyway, that sucker. Shitty start to a marriage, but he's mine now. Shitty start to a marriage. I don't think girls know that when they're like sexy enough, them beer turters and that nice waist, right? Even on the poop pot, they're kind of cute, Just wipe the butt gravy off, and
What? Gravy? Why do you call everything gravy when it's not gravy?
Man, he's already upset about that. Stripes, why you call everything gravy? I'm so sick of it. I want you to just go off one day, Stripes. That'd be so cool. Why you call everything? You know what? We were in the grocery store the other day, and I just got tired of shit. Delete my shows off the TiVo. You don't even know what TiVo is.
I had a TiVo.
You had that? TiVo is dumb.
Like a whole week.
Number 10? I was proposed.
No. But seriously, if it dripples off your steak, that doesn't make it gravy. It has to be. Actually, I don't know about the rules. I don't know the rules of gravy. So maybe you're onto something. But barbecue sauce is not gravy.
One day.
Straight to the moon.
No. One day I'm just gonna like stop talking and let you keep going, and I'm gonna animate the whole thing, and it's just gonna be me in a still image with my mouth shut while you're just like, but I've seen that kind of, but I guess it doesn't. Well, I know all of the birds can't, but some of the birds and then you go and then, but I don't like the candles.
You're finally starting to accurately represent me.
You're lucky I can't be loud right now. What is going on outside? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm becoming an old man now. Because I'm literally pissed off about it. But not because I give a shit that people are making noise outside. But because I'm trying to record something. And we got all this like sirens. And my God, it's like it's July 4th.
Why don't you seek out this police truck and ask them nicely?
Police truck. It's not the siren anymore. It was some idiot like, revving his, sounded like really, really tiny like motocross bike or something. Number 10, man. I was proposed to and said no. After 4 weeks of dating, he got down on his knee with a huge diamond ring and said a huge speech along the lines of, when you know, will you marry me? Since I barely knew the guy, I flat out said no, followed by, sorry, are you okay? He didn't speak to me for the rest of the night, and then when he dropped me home, I told my roommate about it. As I was telling her about it, I got a text from him. Yes, a text, saying, you've broken my heart. I never want to see you again. Goodbye. I love you. We were both 22 at the time. You've broken my heart. I never want to see you again. Goodbye.
That reminds me of an episode of BoJack. You know. When you know.
Shut up. Look, I read that in a Latino voice. It kind of spices it up. So let's try it again. You've broken my heart and killed my father. Prepare to die. I love you. Oh God. Number 9, man. I proposed after 3-ish years of dating and 1 year of living together, and she said no. I was offering her my great-grandparents' wedding ring. Ooh, Kyle, that's rude. That was Friday night. By Sunday night, after a trip to her parents, she came back and told me that she was gay.
Now that's a bold honky lie. She's just trying to get away from this man.
That was 22 years ago, and since then I have been married for 16 years to the next woman I dated. My wife has the wedding ring that I offered to my ex. The gay girlfriend has been with her partner for nearly 22 years. I have a daughter, and they have a girl and a boy. Why are you following them so close? I love them, and they are the best people ever. This is a bullet we both dodged. Okay.
She's really committed to this lie if she's with a woman for 22 years.
Somebody says, I'm proposing today. I will hopefully not report back. Hilarious. Get it?
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh no, Easy had actually reported back.
Edit, I'm not dead yet. I want to go for a walk. Edit to, I'm only here for a minute. She said yes. We'll post pictures later. Edit 2.5 pictures as promised. Sorry for the potato quality.
Ugh.
Oh my God, I can't breathe. Okay. Oh my God.
You okay? Come on, we're almost done here.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Stripes.
Yeah.
Why in the world did you make that noise at these people?
She can do better.
You can't just be so mean to people. Stripes, I'm a fat guy. People must think that if I were to stand next to anybody, Oh, she can do better. That is so mean, Stripes. The noise you made was literally like, oh. Oh my god. Girl. God, girl. For them alien fingers. Well, she said yes. We can now return with Glip Glorp to the... I will be the scourge of the Andromeda Galaxy with my new... I'm sorry.
With my new alien bride.
Look, it's not that bad, but those are pretty long and weird fingers. Where the hell were they born with fingers?
On her. Like, Diamond, I don't think is that small. But
Them,
like,
them fingers looking scarier than a bit. Listen to me, whatever. I don't know anything about fingers. Let's go. I can't believe the noise you made, Stripes. Oh man, everybody's gonna be laughing at me. You got me. Ooh, you just had the perfect.
I feel like I almost killed you.
You know, I really I've never laughed so hard that I want to say I slipped. It felt like I slipped out of consciousness for a little while. You know what I mean? You ever you know, like when you wake up sometimes and you're kind of like coming to in a way where you're adjusting to the fact that like you weren't there for a while, for a while just now, you didn't have your senses about you. You weren't conscious. That's what it felt like. I slipped out of consciousness, and just now I didn't have the breath necessary to be there. Like I remember collapsing backwards laughing at your crap, and then I kind of remember like coming to and being on my back. I could have died just now because you out here making fun of these white people. Stripes was like, oh. like it did her pain to look at these people. Jesus Christ. I don't know what number we're on, man. We need to just finish.
Well, you're almost at the top, so you can just count down now.
Number 7 or something, man. Come on. 1, 2, 3. It's gotta be like 7.
It was 7.
Yeah, it looks like 7. Number 7, okay? Jesus, I'm gonna die. She got me dying, dude. Ooh, I was with a girl for just over 5 years. When we met, she was in a bad place. The guy she was with before me used to beat her up and stuff, really abusive. So it was tough in the beginning because she had major trust issues, self-esteem issues, depression, and she self-harmed. But I went and fell in love with her. Helped her get over a lot of mental anguish she was going through, took her to and paid for the therapist every day, every other week. We lived together for 4 of those. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
You've broken me, man.
No, you're fine.
We lived together. Like I love it. Like you're convincing people that I'm okay now. No, look, he's fine. Look, nothing happened. Look, get out of here. Get out of here. Nothing. He's fine.
What? Am I propping up your body and just?
Yeah. Like I'm Hillary Clinton now, and you're trying to convince people to vote for me. No, he's fine. Look, he's fine. Come on, gotta get him in the White House. We lived together for 4 of those years. Oh boy, you may have taken a few years from my life, Trey.
Here, I'll read the rest of these for you.
On our fifth anniversary, I proposed. I was madly in love with her, and I assumed she was with me. She said yes. Then a few months after that, I got off work a bit early, picked up her favorite fish and chips dinner, and headed home. Long story short, I walked in on her fucking some other dude in our bed. Both ass naked. She's riding the guy like a fucking cowboy. They didn't even fucking hear me come into the apartment. I'll skip the details, but within 2 days of that happening, she was gone. All her stuff was out of the apartment. Half of my stuff was gone from the apartment, including my cash stash. That was several thousand. She took my TV, a bunch of my kitchen stuff. She kept the ring. She took my dog, man. And I haven't seen or spoken to her since. That was about 3 years ago now.
How do you recover from something like that?
You think about how you dodged a bullet and how the worst is behind you, you know? again, what sucks is everybody's like, did you report this to the police? And he's like, eventually, but she was long gone. And I wasn't exactly in the right headspace. After the night I walked in on them, I immediately got drunk and blacked out for a few days. Poor guy, you know? But this is what you get with living with a hoe. And how could you know you living with a hoe? Oh no, you living with a hoe. Banging dudes butt naked in your bed for show. Y'all both sleeping there. And what do you know? You straight living with a hoe. Thank you, Stripes. You know, not bad for me to have composed that with such little oxygen to the brain.
Sorry, should I have been beatboxing for you? I'll learn.
You want to get racist in here? That's how I'm offended by that. I am offended by that. Number
How many
6.
Mexican jokes have you made at my expense? Am I not allowed one?
You're in a room bathed in the light of candles with your Dia de los Muertos freaking face paint on right now, talking to me about racism.
I'm a living stereotype. It's true.
What was the last thing you ate?
Tostadas with chicken and avocado and crema.
But I thought you hate chicken, Stripes.
I hate them in quesadillas.
So mad at you. Number
Why? 'Cause I didn't say it proper.
I mean, I don't care at this point. It wasn't about the order, but the fact that you don't even know what you want is like a problem. How old are you? And you don't even know what you want. I don't like this one.
25.
Okay, Stripes. Yep. Yeah, whatever. Number 6, dude. My dad proposed to my mom after they'd been seeing each other. Stop riffing at the end of these. Am I setting you up for this? Am I setting you up for these stupid craps that we do in between every one of these at this point? Or are we both just becoming so ADD and bored with these lists that, like, even though we're reaching the best ones, we're just like, man, look, number 6, my dad proposed to my mom after they'd been seeing each other for just under 2 weeks. What? She laughed and basically told him that he was crazy and that it was way too soon. My dad said, and he is very proud of this fact, fine, I asked you once, I'm not gonna ask again. My mom thought he was bluffing. After a year of dating, she started giving him a hard time about not asking her to get married again. And he stuck to his guns and said she missed her chance and that he wasn't going to ask her again. My mom finally broke down and asked him to marry her. Made sure that she properly took the piss out of him when she did it too. Made a big show about her asking her father for permission. Got down on one knee in public and got him the gaudiest engagement ring she could find. He said yes, and they just celebrated their 30th anniversary. This is awesome. That's awesome.
She took it into her own hands. That's really cool.
It's awesome that he put her through that.
Yeah. To the point where she needed to propose to him.
That's
and
hilarious.
I wonder if that's what he wanted.
I love the idea of like him proposing to her 2 weeks in and she's like, what? And then he's like, all right, not gonna ask again. Number 5, not denied during a proposal, but 99% sure she realized I was going to propose and bailed before I had the chance. Oh, this is good. 8 years and change together. Everything seemed totally fine. Damn, you together near a decade. We talked about our future together plenty of times. Engagement rings, jobs, housing, kids, etc. The job and housing parts were going forward, and she had shown me rings and talked weddings plenty, so I felt like it was time to finally do that. I bought a ring, tried to plan some neat trips to take her on for an awesome proposal. They kept not happening. Finally decided that I was going to do it around New Year's, but right before, she bailed. Timing was just so perfect for her not to have figured out. I never really got an explanation, just the general I love you, but I'm not in love with you. One of those kind of generic statements that you hate to get, especially after so long, but at the same time, I'm sure there was plenty of legitimacy to it. We met when we were young, and we grew into different people. Wow. How real a statement. We met when we were young, and we grew into different people. It's as if some people actually understand how life works. People change a lot between the mid-teens and mid-20s. What the fuck was I talking about in the beginning of this list? We tried to maintain a friendship for a while after that, but it was super hard for me because I was still totally into her. I had to basically drop off the map entirely for a year or so because we shared the same social circle, and I got so incredibly uncomfortable around her. No hard feelings, I guess. At the end of the day, it sucked, but it wasn't like something awful had happened between us. Eventually, we just stopped talking. She drifted into a new social circle, and I just got back into mine. Life goes on. Definitely not where I expected to be at this point in my life, though. Not anywhere near as exciting as interesting as some of the other stories. Somebody says it doesn't have to be interesting or exciting. It's your story, and thank you for telling it. Coming from a BuzzFeed employee, I'm sure.
We have to make sure everyone feels comfortable here, you know?
Please keep sharing. Do not feel that your contribution is not
like
as relevant.
A cold magnetic arm that's just feeding you like they would baby birds in a incubator.
Consume, contribute. Oh my god. Number 5. Oh my god. She said no, and then confessed that she had been sleeping with my brother. Oh. You know, you gotta be a really fucking dirty bitch to get proposed to by a dude. This is like somebody saying, hey, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and then be like, nah, cuck, I'm banging your brother. Actually, I've had his penis inside me, your brother. That's how I do. I bang multiple dudes that are related to each other. I was thinking about a threesome. What, Stripes? Oh my god. And then the guy says it ruined the trip a bit, to be honest.
Where were they going?
No, they were probably on a trip, Stripes. So number 3, the last 3 posts have all been gilded, and they're not that long, which is right up my alley. I asked, and she said no because I drank way too much. I said I would get it under control. I tried bluffing and bullshitting instead. She saw through it and kicked me out. She was right. I don't have a clue where she is or whatever happened to her. I quit drinking now, but she was definitely my life's most cruel lesson. You poor boy, what a hard lesson, but a good lesson. Somebody said it had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong. Why are people in here making motherfucking Mass Effect references? Do you think you're ever going to play Mass Effect, Stripes?
Well, right now the references are going over my head. But yeah, it seems like an easy enough game to me.
Okay, then I won't ruin it. Number 2. My dad proposed to my mom the night he met her. Your dad did what, mate? The night he met her? She must have been fly as a motherfucker, Stripes. Damn, son. You know what I'm talking about? The way they explain it is that they bared their soul to each other. That might. What are you doing? Stripes, look.
What?
This man is deliberately misspelling this shit. I know it.
Do you think so?
Yes. My dad proposed to my mom the night he met her. The way they explain it, they bared their soul, come on, to each other. That might. They talked for hours uninterrupted. And even though my dad wasn't looking to get married, he just knew. She said no, but did say yes to another night out. He proposed again. She said no, but again accepted another date. He went on nearly He went on nearly daily for 6 months. One night, my parents played Scrabble against each other for the first time. My mom loves Scrabble. She kicks people's asses up and down the block, and this is a woman who takes pride in being well-read enough to serve as a quick reference thesaurus. After a hard-fought game, she lost the first time she could remember, and my 105-pound, 5'0" mother swept the board and pieces of the table, sending them flying across the room. She looked at my dad and said in a fury, "Fine, I'll marry you." My dad responded in classic male fashion, I need to think about it." He thought about it, and barely 8 months after they met, my parents married in a tiny chapel in Vegas. They celebrate 23 years this year. Somebody say, they banged on the Scrabble board. Somebody else said, question, how do you get jizz out of a Scrabble board? And then the answer is don't bother. There's 29 points right there. Because Z's in Scrabble are worth a lot of points. Hey, you want to play Scrabble on our phones?
Dude, I'd lose against you and you know it.
But maybe it would be good to increase your vocabulary.
I suppose there's always that. As long as you don't gloat too hard when you do win.
I mean, there's no gloating. To be honest, it's really just about spelling the most hilarious words sometimes. Plus, we can play at our own pace, which is always fun too. What's that one Scrabble? There's a Scrabble game. It's called Word something. God, I'm killing me. Make it to the end of the list, Kyle. Somebody else says, but there's only one Z in a Scrabble game. You could spell it with a blank tile, but that's not worth any points. Jizz can only be worth 19 points before multipliers. Wow, somebody did the math in here. Somebody said, well, that person already got their gold. No take backs. Poem for a Sprague arrives, of course. Dear Reddit, I write in regard to a cheat. While reading a thread on a subreddit suite, I witnessed a comment delightful to see. How merry, I whispered and giggled with glee. 'Twas then I decided to honor the line with something delightful, precious of mine, a credit I'd savored and savored for a while, a golden allowance bestowed with a smile. But shock and revulsion, the line was fake. What phonies and fraudsters your redditors make. Return me my credit. I really insist, sincerely, a victim of forgery. Pissed. Idiot.
I'm waiting.
That's a real person, Stripes, who's doing this in every other thread that we're reading. It's getting nuts, isn't it?
It gets smiles from some people, I'm sure.
No, I don't want him to stop. He's a master at his craft. It's just, as weird as I am reading these threads, there's another consistent player on the board of life in Reddit. And that's
Scrabble?
No, Stripes. Good one. Number 1. I proposed after 7 months of dating and she said no, as it was too soon. I agreed and put the ring in a safety deposit box and told her that if she changed her mind, it's there for her. After 2 weeks, she said yes, and we decided to have a long engagement period, 2 years, so that we could be sure. We've been married for 37 years. You're telling me that this stupid lovey-dovey bullshit is at the top of the freaking list, bearing nearly 7,000 upvotes, and that we wanted a list of people getting denied, and what we instead got was a list of people going, no, but then later just, flipping it up on the...
I'm happily married now with children.
The whole freaking list. And I tried to read near 40, thinking that it would be.
Do people ever on your Reddit inbox? Oh my god, that's adorable.
The face when you realize you don't have to listen to Hillary's voice for the next 4 years. His baby Pepe.
Not a baby. It's just wide-eyed. But do people ever invoke you into the asks?
What do you mean?
Can you on a reply to a post and then ask you to read that post?
Occasionally. I'll get messages saying things like paging mom, get the camera. A lot of people have been pulling off these bullshit trick Widowmaker shots where they jump up and shoot people in the air on Antarctica. But one of the best ones I saw recently was one where a Genji went up into the air and deflected it back at the Widowmaker in midair. It was sick. It was sick. Oh boy. I'd like to thank Lexaeus because, oh my god, look at the dolphins.
You should do a stream of the 1v1 matches you might do on the PS4.
Are you kidding? I get my ass handed to me. I'm nothing without my mercies. Because I don't feel like trying these days. Really, I don't. Really don't feel like trying. Says 14 years ago today we saw the tale of Seymour the dog.
Oh no. Oh god.
Futurama.
Please stop. I don't want it.
Would you cry like a little baby?
I cry like a bitch, yeah.
During everything. That's how you handle things in life. Look, special thanks to Lexaeus, who I actually got Shadow of Mordor from on the PS4 in the mail, and I'm so mad that was even on my wish list because I think Titanfall was the same price, Titanfall 2, and hilariously, you guys have seen me play Shadow of Mordor on the PC because I have it on the PC and I think I've had it for a long time, but I just wasn't able to play it until I got my new computer. But then I got it in the mail from Lexaeus for the PS4, so maybe I could start it over, but I'm not sure. I mean, like, what's the point of me pouring more hours into that game on PS4? I guess maybe for the trophies, but do I care? You know, I'm definitely gonna play it. So again, special thanks to Lexaeus for being so sexy and amazing. I mean, I really just got to figure out how to produce more content here so that, you know, Lexaeus will have stuff to sleep to and that everybody else will be satisfied too. Guys, this was a list, and I'm sorry so many of them turned out to be the same freaking thing, man. Maybe sooner or later we can get the people on Ask Reddit to what's the word, you know, actually deliver some spooky stories or something about where they nearly died. That's what I really want, near-death experiences.
Oh, we've done one like that before.
I know, but here's the thing that you don't understand about Reddit is, like, the only people who are getting upvoted are, like, probably the 30 or 40 so people who were around when the question was asked, you know, during this very brief window where people are upvoting their comments.
So it's just about, like, rewording it, so it's the same question. And
No, you're not understanding. My point is this. I could ask the same Reddit question over the course of the next 50 days and get thousands of different stories, because sometimes people just sleep, sometimes people ain't on the site, sometimes people are at work, sometimes people taking a shower. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a very small window where people have to see the question and answer it. Like, the way that I wish that Ask Reddit worked is that they would ask a question and then ask the same question in 12 hours so that everybody who missed it the first time would get a chance to answer. Because a lot of people, what happens is they see a post, it's like 12 hours old, and they think there's no point in me putting my story in now because nobody's going to see it. And it's true, by that time the thousands of upvotes have already decided whose stories are most relevant in there, and some people's shit are just going to get lost. And that's why one of the most famous and typical things you see in most of the comments are, oh, this is going to get buried, but to be honest, they commented within that window where people are still...
You have a saving grace. You could reply to someone who like piggyback off a popular post with your own reply that's a little bit relevant to what they said.
It still needs to be confined to a very specific window, because the idea of me being able to come in here and then comment something right here, Stripes, it's going to be way below this, because this already has 4,000 upvotes on the comment to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's just how things go, and it's unfortunate, but it's the way things work. But we don't need to be complaining about it at the end of the video. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and if you didn't, what, Stripes? Oh, did you want to tell your story about you know, your sister spitting?
No.
Come on,
I'm just
sure?
hoping you'll do me the honor and making like a goose and get into a monogamous relationship with my older sister.
With your older sister?
Yeah, that one.
Would I get into a relationship with your older sister?
Yeah, trying to set her up.
I mean, I don't think she's into darkies. I think we've been through that. You know? In the world of X-Men, you know, I'm like all of the mutants, and she's like the police. Okay. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Oh god. You know, I really did give away a couple of my years of my life today, because Stripes had to see a picture of some people that she decided were just so stupid looking that she had to like scoff in dismay. Ugh, Stripes said.
That's not a scoff.
Look, dude, we gonna find that part of this video. Do you understand me? We are gonna find it, Stripes. So guys, take it easy. We'll catch you in the next one. 1 hour and 50 minutes. And I'm gonna get like $1 for this video too. Man, I need to get more subscribers.